YouTube. I'll let it populate, let a few people jump on, and then we will get into it. If you're watching this on the replay, please give me a hashtag replay, just so I know how many people do watch on the replay. Thank you kindly. I'm going to give it a couple of minutes, let some people jump on, and then we're going to get into today's live and today's podcast episode. Guys, jumping on Facebook and Instagram, just leave me an emoji in the comments just to let me know that you can hear me and you can see me okay, please. Before we get going, we've never done a live or an episode yet where no one's been able to hear me and see me. So hopefully we are all good. Cool. We've got a few people jumping on now on Facebook, a few of you guys on Instagram. I'm going to get going pretty quick on this one. I'm going to give it about 30 seconds. And then we're going to get into it and deliver some fucking great value to you guys in this one. If you ever feel frustrated and a little bit overwhelmed with managing diabetes, this is really, really going to help you. Cool. Right. Shall we hit record? Shall we get going? Yes, we shall. 3, 2, 1. What's happening, squad? Welcome to another episode of the Type 1 Movement Podcast. And in this episode today, I'll tell you what, straight in here, if you ever feel frustrated and kind of overwhelmed and kind of pissed off with managing your diabetes and not sure where to look, what you need to adjust, this episode is going to be for you. It's going to be about the 3 rules you need to consider when making adjustments in terms of managing your glucose levels. I'm going to say to your diabetes management then, but when making adjustments. So do grab a bit of a pen and paper. Get ready to take some notes on this as well, because you're going to get a lot of value from this. Before we get going though, please leave me a rating and a review on the podcast app or whatever app or device or platform you're listening to it on, because it really does help me reach more type 1 diabetics and positively impact our community. It's November. It's Diabetes Awareness Month at the month for recording this. So happy Diabetes Awareness Month to all you guys out there. Also, give it a screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories, share it on Facebook. If you guys are watching this on the live now on Facebook, give it a share. Tag another type 1 if you know anyone. Same with you guys on Instagram. And we're going to roll straight into this. So, guys watching on the live, I want your favorite emoji in the comments if you can agree with this. And guys listening to this on the podcast, give me a silent head nod. Have you ever felt a little bit frustrated when you see a high or you see a low and you're like, I don't know what the fuck caused this? Give me a silent head nod. Give me an emoji on the live. Do you ever feel a little bit overwhelmed with your diabetes when you see a high or a low? And again, you're not sure what the fuck happened. And then I speak to so many type 1, so I know you guys can relate to this because I've been there in the past, still do sometimes. And this is something we preach to all of our clients, right? And you're seeing something and you're like, I don't have a fucking clue why this happened. And then it can be like trying to look for a fucking needle in a haystack, for want of a better analogy, right? Because you're not sure what's caused it, therefore you don't know what the fuck to adjust. In this episode, it's not going to be a super long one, but it's going to be full of value. I'm going to give you guys 3 rules. These are 3 rules that I abide by myself and the 3 rules that we teach all of our clients when it comes to trying to find out what's caused a high or a low. And we're looking at when and where to make adjustments, yeah? So here's the first rule, straight into this. Take a note of this. Here's the first rule. You want to get 2 lots worth of data when you're going to make any adjustments. You need to get 2 lots worth of data. Let me tell you why. Let's say you have a bastard diabetes day. This is what I like to call those days where your levels are high and low. They're just out of range. They're just being an absolute twat. Let's say you have one day and then you're like, right, I'm going to go in and make some adjustments. You go and make adjustments based off one day, based on one lot of data. Yeah. And that was just a weird sort of analogy, a weird day. You've made all the adjustments. You've gone in, you've adjusted your basal rate, you've changed your insulin to carb ratio. And then the next day, you're all over the fucking show. You're high or you're low because you made the adjustments, because you didn't wait. Yeah. There's so many variables that comes to managing our blood sugar levels. We can't just base everything off one lot of worth of data. It's like when we're running basal tests for overnight, because we all do them on pens or a pump. We don't just run one test, make adjustments, then leave it. We run 2, 3, 4. I've had clients who have run like fucking 10 tests. I have in the past, because we need this data. It's like when we're testing insulin to carb ratio. We don't just go in and say, oh, I think I'm a 1 to 10. We got 1 lot's worth of data. We try one unit to 10 grams of carbs, and then that's it. We leave it. We don't. We build up accumulations of data, and ideally we want 2 lots worth of data. So if you're getting a day where you're out of range, do not listen, do not just fucking go in and start adjusting everything, because this is where the frustration and the overwhelm starts. You get one lot of data. It's not the data that you want. You don't like it. You're not in range. So you go and adjust everything. And then you don't know where the fuck you're at because you've adjusted so many things and you're chasing your tail. So this is the biggest point, the first rule when making adjustments. Get 2 lots worth of data. Hold it out. Wait it out for a day. If the next day is the same, then you know you're going to need to make adjustments. If it's not, you don't need to make any adjustments. But you're not going to know if you go in on day one and you make all these adjustments. So at the end of the day, you're like, today's been shit. I'm going to change my basal rate. I'm going to change my ratios. And then the next day, you're all over the fucking show. So that's the first thing. Get 2 lots minimum, ideally 3 lots worth of data. Run 2 or 3 tests before making any adjustments. Yeah. Unless, the caveat to this, unless it's like a severe hypo or something, and you think that something needs adjusting and it's dangerous, then you can make adjustments off 1 lot's worth of data. But if it's not, hold it out, get 2 lots, ideally 3 lots worth of data, then you can make the adjustments. These next 2 rules are going to be a fucking game changer. This is really, really going to help you. These next 2 rules. So rule number 2, if you get a high or a low, and it's within 4 hours of a bolus of insulin, so this means it's within 4 hours of you eating a meal, a bolus of insulin, it's probably going to be that bolus. So you need to test your insulin to carb ratio. If it's been a high fat, high protein meal, you need to test your ratios for them. You split if you're on pens, you're extended if you're on a pump. Anything that happens within 4 hours of a bolus, it's going to be the bolus. This is the reason why. With most rapid-acting insulins, they're done and dusted within 4 hours. So anything that happens, within that time frame, it's going to be that bolus of insulin. So you need to have a look at your insulin to carb ratio, or if it was a high-fat, high-protein meal, you need to check those out, your carb, your protein ratios. Yeah, that's if it's within 4 hours. Rule number 3, the flip side of that. If anything happens to your levels, you get a high or a low, after 4 hours of you eating, 4 hours of you giving a bolus of insulin, likelihood is it's going to be your basal insulin. Again, because that rapid acting insulin, that bolus, has done its job after 4 hours. Anything after that, it's going to be your basal rate that needs adjusting. Yeah. Those are the 3 rules. There's not a lot free, but they're really going to fucking help. So next time you sit there and you see a high or a low and it's been 1 day, you're going to put these rules into practice. So you're going to be like, right, I remember what fucking Tom said. I'm going to wait it out. For day number 2, I'm going to see what happens. If that high or low persists, then you can be like, right, I'm ready to make adjustments. But where do I make adjustments? Well, if it's within 4 hours of a bolus, then you need to look at your insulin to carb ratio or your ratio for fats and proteins. If it's after 4 hours of a bolus, then you need to look at your basal rate and you need to retest and test that again. Yeah. So that's it in like real time. I'll just give you a little fucking real life scenario. So these are the 3 rules that you should stick to whenever you're going to make any adjustments. Rule number 1, get 2 lots worth of data, 2 days worth of data, 2 test meals, 2 fucking basal rate tests, whatever it is, you want a minimum of 2. Rule number 2, if anything happens, a high or a low, within 4 hours of you bolusing some insulin, chances are it's that bolus that's out. It's your carb ratio that's out. Yeah. If anything happens, this is rule number 3. If anything happens, a high or a low, 4 hours after a bolus, it's probably going to be your basal rate that needs adjusting, whether you're on pens or a pump. Team, that is it. Stick to those 3 rules, and that's going to give you a great starting point. Stop that frustration. Stop you trying to find a fucking needle in a haystack, and stop you feeling overwhelmed and not understanding where you need to make adjustments. Yeah. So remember that. Wait 2 days, 2 lots worth of data, 2 tests. Yeah. Anything that happens within 4 hours, it's your bolus. You need to retest your carb ratios or your ratios of fats and proteins, or your split, or your extended bolus. There is a lot that goes into that. We could do a whole podcast episode on that. Rule number 3, if anything happens after these 4 hours, it's going to be your basal rate. It's going to be your background insulin that needs adjusting. Remember these next time you sat there having a bastard diabetes day and you're like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. It's going to fall into these categories. Stick with them, and it'll really help stop that frustration and overwhelm with everything. Team, that is it. If you got value from this episode, please leave me a rating and a review, as it really does help me reach more type 1 diabetics and positively impact our community. Thank you very much for listening. I appreciate you guys as always. Until the next episode, have a fucking great day. Peace. Right, I'm going to stay on for a minute or so, still blah, 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 going on words out. See, we still have some people on the live. Does anyone have any questions about anything that we've just spoke about, making adjustments, or anything at all that you would like to ask? I know we've had a few come through. Read ones off Facebook. We got a thumbs up from David. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Did you guys find value in this? Did you find it helpful? Has it helped in next time you see a high or a low? Are you going to be a bit more confident in going in and knowing what to adjust, or waiting it out? Or waiting it out to get that 2 lots worth of data? Duncan May, one I've adjusted massively was the basal layer. Definitely, when you started the program, an absolute foundation of management. Definitely. Cool. So we had a few emojis coming in. Thank you. Mali, 1979. My BS is 21. Get that fucker down. Go on a walk. Drink some water. Like, obviously giving corrections as well, but get that down as fast as you can. Afternoon, Donna. Hope you're good. We got a few emojis on there. You guys agreeing with the frustration and the overwhelm. Jackie just missed it, so we'll rewatch. Thank you. Got a clap from Debs. Cool. Right, team. That's it. Hopefully you guys got some value from this. Hopefully it does help you next time you sat there, like I say, and you're a little bit frustrated, a little bit overwhelmed on your way to fucking burnout. We're wondering what's going on. Hopefully these 3 rules, if you stick by them, abide by them, they will help you out a ton. Thanks very much for watching and tuning in. I always say tune in. You don't fucking tune in now. It's 2022. You just open a fucking app. But I still appreciate you guys watching and listening. Hope you got some value. Till the next live. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.